My name is Rosanna Bracho and I share... Hello my friend and welcome to my cooking show. My name is Rosanna Bracho and I share recipes that are super easy and super healthy. We're gonna be learning the basics of how to cook a spaghetti squash, and we're also gonna be learning the basics of how to make a creamy sauce for our spaghetti squash or any other pasta. And we're not gonna be using any dairy. We're gonna be using cauliflower to make that creamy base. So let me walk you through our ingredients. Here's the spaghetti squash. It's gonna be good for 2 to 3 people depending on how much they eat and whether it is a side or if it's your main dish. The cauliflower, I'm gonna be only using half of this cauliflower, but if you get a smaller one at the store, you can just use a smaller one. The olive oil along with the pesto is what's gonna create that flavor. So I'm gonna start out adding 2 teaspoons of olive oil and probably 2 to 3 teaspoons of pesto. I do warn you, if you're trying to completely cut dairy from this sauce, most of the pestos that are sold in the store, including this one, they do have cheese, so you might want to look for one that doesn't have any dairy whatsoever, or you might want to make your own pesto, which I might do a recipe for that in the future. Sounds like a lot of fun. Salt and pepper to taste, of course, and our almond milk, which the main purpose is to help the cauliflower blend smoothly in the blender. So you want to make sure that you're getting one that is unsweetened and with the original flavor. If you're not concerned about the dairy and you just want to replace it with like a low-fat milk or just regular milk, that's okay as well. So we're gonna start out with our spaghetti squash, and we're gonna put it, of course, on a cutting mat, and we're gonna use a good knife to cut into it. So this is kind of how I do it. I hit it first. And then I cut into it, see? And we're gonna see something like this. Now, with the help of this spoon, we are just going to remove all the seeds from the inside. That should be good. At this point, you want to make sure that your oven is preheated at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're gonna grab the halves of the spaghetti squash and we are going to place them in a baking sheet. I put some aluminum foil, but it's not really necessary. It's just so it is easier to clean after. And we are going to put a little bit of olive oil on each half. I put maybe like a teaspoon on each. We are also going to put some salt. It absorbs the salt a lot. So the more salt that you put into it, the less salt you're gonna have to put into your sauce. And now we are going to put some pepper. Take a look at our seasoned squash, and we're just gonna place it upside down in the baking sheet. And we're gonna take it to the oven for approximately 45 minutes. And just like with pasta, if we leave it in the oven for a little longer, it is going to be softer. So we're just gonna start out by cutting the leaves, right? And we just cut this into smaller pieces. The shape doesn't really matter because we're gonna be boiling everything and then blending it all together. And as I'm boiling the cauliflower, 40 minutes went by, so I'm just gonna take the spaghetti squash and you're gonna see how it looks. Ta-da! It kind of looks like a couple of boobs, right? Look how it comes off as it was like a pasta. The cauliflower is already super tender, so it's time to remove it from the stove and just drain it. And we're just gonna put our steamy cauliflower into the blender. Now, to make this blend easier, we're going to add a half cup of a non-dairy milk. I'm using almond milk, but use whatever you have at home. We are going to add like a teaspoon of olive oil. Salt to taste, add maybe like a half teaspoon. And some fresh pepper. And last but not least, our prepared pesto sauce. We are going to add a couple teaspoons. Make them a big one. We want to help it blend as smooth as possible. So I ended up adding a little bit more of salt, pepper, and pesto, and I'm also gonna add a little bit more of olive oil. And I'm just gonna blend again. I wanted to see this creamy sauce that we have here. Now we are just going to serve our spaghetti squash and we're gonna top it with our sauce. Stay till the end of the video if you want to see me trying this plate, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I've seen some people like to eat directly from the squash. It does look very good, but I still think a plate is more practical. Add as much sauce as you want, some pesto for garnish. Now sprinkle some Parmesan cheese. Oops, might be better to add the pesto at the end. And that's it, now enjoy. Let's try this out. I love it. Who needs pasta when you have spaghetti squash? You don't need it.